Hey guys, I've got a great recipe for you today. It's the potato bake using the cutter in the Thermomix. I would say this would have to be one of those recipes that most families would cook at some stage. While I'm not big into white potatoes, I certainly love a good potato bake. So what I've got is a kilo, 1.2. The recipe tells you to have that peeled and prepped, ready to go. Ideally, you're wanting sort of that kind of a shaped potato that's going to fit nicely into the cutter, right? So that's ideal. If you end up with a large potato, which is, I've just gone through my fridge to use up these soft fellas. So you want to just cut it in half vertically like that. Right, got the oven heated and I've got a ceramic dish here ready to go. I'm going to do a bit of a tweak to this recipe. Alright, I've already measured these out, so I've got my 1200 grams of potatoes and that's set aside. Alright, so we just placed our cutter shaft. Right, I've just cut up some onions, so I didn't even rinse it from a previous recipe. So we're wanting cutter disc facing up, number one, which is ready for action. And before I start using my potatoes, because I've already got onion in there, I'm just going to add to this recipe. I just love the onion in this. I think most people would add onion to their potato bake. Alright, so we're just going to feed through. It says to do half at a time. Of course, your bowl's only so big in there, so you want to be able to get it all in. Okay, I'll tell you what I've done. It's alright, because I rinsed this up from the previous recipe. You will need to check that the shaft's in and select it. So as you can see, there's no damage done, it's just that it will not propel, the blades can't propel the top section. Let's give it a whirl again. Makes a difference. Okay, so we just got our sliced up onion. Let's pop that in. Adds a stack of flavour, of course, to this potato bake. It's all going in the same bowl, so I won't even need to rinse that. Okay. Alright, let's just go back on that. Alright, so now we're going to try the potatoes through. So we're going to do half the potatoes and then we'll stop and release the basket so we can make sure we don't overload. Beautiful potatoes. Add those to my mixing bowl dish. Okay, start back up again. Peeled the potatoes first in the Thermomix. You only usually do around about the 600, 800 grams at a time. So do that in 2 batches. And look at that. Of course, if they were one piece, you get the nice big, they're cut in half. But if you've just got one piece, you're going to end up with your nice, as we like, usual potato bake. Alright, so I'll just put that in there for the time. Alright, when they're sliced, take out your shaft. Okay, so we've completed that second batch without stopping, and distribute them evenly across my baking dish. Alright, this calls for Gruyere cheese, and it's an expensive cheese, so most people I think find it difficult to actually source. So I've got my Parmesan cheese here that I'm going to use, which is already cut. So this is chopping it up if I was to chop it up. Okay, transfer set aside. Now garlic. No, 1 clove is not enough. 2 cloves of garlic. Alright, we're going to chop. Placing your lid back on. Got the 2 cloves, so I just did it a bit faster than what it asks for. Okay. Alright, so that's all chopped up. I just did a dressing, which I didn't rinse it out because it was just garlic and olive oil in that. Alright, so it's asking for pouring cream. This is the way I roll, and that's using things up in the fridge that need to be used up. So I'm actually going to use some sour cream. I find this recipe is interchangeable. I've done this forever. Sour cream sometimes just sits forgotten about in the back of the fridge, so use it up. It's 1 in 500 grams and might be a little shy of that, but because it's quite thick, it's not a pouring cream that's been asked of us. So let me just use a little water. Not a lot, probably about 40 or 50 mils. I'll just thin that out a little bit, make it more like the pouring cream. Okay, I'll add some salt. Teaspoon of salt. Pepper. Around, pinch of nutmeg, okay, lid on, and let's blend that up. Now, of course, you could also use, my fingers are wet, you could also use normal grated cheese on this, as I'm sure many of you have done over the time. So there's my creamy mix. I'm just going to put that into my baking dish, and it's going to go in the oven for around 45 minutes on 200 degrees, sprinkled with my cheese, and voila, we're going to consume that one tonight. And look, you might not want to do potato. I love this recipe as a veggie bake. So if you've got carrots, zucchini, sweet potato, and you want to do a mix, cauliflower, you can slice that all up too at the hands of the cutter and make a lovely veggie bake that's lower carb. So I'll pour that out now, and if you're passing by, please pop in, I'll give you a try. Have a great night.